All right, today we're going to take a look at Artemisia Gentileschi's Judith and Her Maidservant. Now, this is a very typical Baroque painting, Italian Baroque painting. So the first thing that we kind of notice is the contrast. So we have these very brightly lit subjects. We got Judith there with her hand up in front of that candle flame, and she's blocking a lot of that light. It's not hitting her face, but her dress and everything's kind of illuminated just by that candle, and it's creating a whole lot of contrast. And actually, that alone really makes the candle and her hand stand out. We're drawn to that immediately. So that really becomes the focal point. But it's not just the contrast. It's not the contrast between the candle flame or hand and that dark background. It's also the lines of movement that are bringing our eye into her hand, into that candle flame. So the first is actually her arm. So of course her hand is connected at the end of her arm. So her arm really brings our eye down right into her hand, brings us right into that focal point. But her other arm also does that. So if we follow from her hand up, that line brings us again right into her other hand, right into that candle flame. That becomes part of the focal point. Now, Judith is looking out of frame. So her eye level line, her eyesight line is actually a little bit higher than that focal point. However, the maidservant, who is also looking at probably the same thing that Judith is, her sight line, her eyesight line actually brings us again right through, right into that flame, right into her hand, and it goes off out of frame. So again, we have these lines moving us in. However, the maidservant, if we follow her hand down her arm, down to her hand, there's something at the bottom that maybe you saw already, maybe you hadn't seen, but there's actually a head down here because Judith has just beheaded Holofernes. So that becomes kind of another kind of focal point. So we've got her hand and the flame. We have, that leads us down to the maidservant's face. That leads us down to Holofernes' head. So there you have Judith and the Maidservant.